Hi, it's Kevin May, the Editor-in-Chief of PhocusWire, in the PhocusWire studio with Rajesh Magow, co-founder and CEO in India for MakeMyTrip. Welcome. Thanks for sparing some time to talk to us. Phocuswright, in the preamble for the session that you're going to do with them later on, talks about that there are still, despite India having, I think it's the second largest mobile penetration in the world, there are a myriad, their word, of challenges that remain in India for online travel. What would you say, Rajesh, are the top 2 or 3 challenges that you have to deal with as a company, and what the industry or the online travel industry in general in India has to overcome?
Yeah, sure. And just a correction first, by the way, it's actually the first largest mobile market.
It's changed since they wrote that,
Yeah.
which is fine.
Yeah, which is okay, but it could be different sources or whatever.
Yeah.
But what I saw was India is actually about 80% mobile market, and Indonesia is next.
Okay.
About in the 70s, and believe it or not, China is actually 60%.
Okay.
Whereas we believe mobile actually came from China, right? And the Western world's UK and US is actually in the 30s.
Yes.
35, 37%. So it's a big mobile market. I guess that solves one problem for sure, which is the handy internet access device. Everyone has it. It's cheap, and the data plans are also cheaper, right? So it solves the bandwidth problem. It solves the immediate internet access problem. It solves the on-the-move kind of a use case problem, right? I mean, it's handy 24/7 with you. The time spent on mobile could be phenomenally high, as you would compare it with the desktop era, because we've seen that as well.
Yep.
So it definitely solves that problem. But on beyond that, now you're actually doing business, right? I mean, you're using internet access device, but at the end of the day, then you are doing business, right? I mean, whether it is travel business or any other e-commerce category, right? So so therefore, from a challenges standpoint, you would have specific industry-related challenges to solve for, right? And the couple of challenges that we've been trying to solve for, and I think while we've come a long way already, if you compare our business for the over a decade, we've come a long way in solving, for instance, the adoption problem from flights to hotels now. So we started building our business when we were only doing air bookings.
Yep.
And today air is actually 60% online penetration. Yep. And hotel has come from nothing to about 15%.
Yeah. I spoke to Deep Gara last year, and we had a discussion about how hotels was a really big focus for the MakeMyTrip group now. So is that still a difficult problem, do you think?
No, I think it's not a difficult problem what it was, a few years ago.
Yeah.
Since the smartphone came into being, that was the game changer, because it kind of solved the bandwidth problem, because, the hotel is an involved category where you have to also push a lot of the rich content. So you needed bandwidth to be able to do, high quality bandwidth to be able to do that. We did not have that before.
Yeah.
So that particular problem is solved. Now what you need to do is to keep pushing the envelope and creating awareness in terms of bringing every type of customer segment, if you will, to come online on the platform. So I think English speaking segment in India is by and large online, whether they are on social chat or on any other e-commerce platform, they are online.
It's then just a way of just connecting them to you. That's all it is.
It is absolutely that. And then it's just that the headroom that out of that, 500 million internet users, people who are buying are only 75 to 100 million.
Yeah.
So the challenge right now is to how do we make sure at least the first 250 million start buying first.
Okay.
And that's the potential opportunity.
And is that an advertising marketing challenge then, which is something completely different?
I would say less of an advertising marketing challenge. I think it's more the problem that's getting solved now is, for example, building credibility with the digital payment ecosystem.
Okay.
Because you used to be a credit card market alone, and now it's fast changing to other modes of payments as well, online payments, whether it is wallet and more recently the unified payment interface that was built by the government, which is like the backbone, which is going to be the game changer potentially. So, that would bring a lot of the people easily be able to transact, not necessarily with thinking about credit, but it's just debit, direct bank-to-bank kind of transfer transaction. So I think that's going to help a lot.
Okay. The maybe it's the wrong terminology, but we call it the branded hotel model, OYO.
Yes.
Speaking here this week, and it's an interesting model.
Yes.
It's raised a lot of money.
Yeah.
But that's something potentially you could have done. Would you say?
Well, from our point of view, our core strength was distribution.
Yeah, of course, and e-commerce and all those kind of things.
Yeah, but and going on the supply side, so think about it. I mean, we are a platform. We have all kinds of chains and all kind of independent hotels, right? At the end of the day, and we wanted it to be like that. We are filling up like all the kind of hotels, right? I mean, we sell about 30,000 hotels today, in a month, like literally. And we will have 50,000 on our platform, and we sell about 30,000 different hotels. So on a spread of 50,000 hotels, we sell plenty of hotels. So not necessarily. So if we were to go, theoretically, you could say that anyone could have done it. But if you want to go on the supply side, it's a completely different business.
Yeah.
Which means that you actually are going into the hospitality side of it.
But you did have a I don't know if falling out is the right phrase, but there was some kind of conflict between yourself and OYO.
Historically,
yes.
Historically, not anymore.
Of course.
In fact, we are partners now. So, and that was only because, there was nothing to do with anything else but to say that they were competing directly, because in the 1.0 of OYO was a hotel aggregator like us.
Yeah.
And I guess they also realized that they would want to be more in hospitality chain, more a hotel chain, and go completely on the other side, more on the supply side, and not necessarily directly compete. I mean, yes, supplier direct, meaning hotel direct would compete, that direct channel would compete, but that kind of competes for every chain, so it's no different.
Okay.
So from that point of view, there's meeting place.
What's MakeMyTrip's kind of strategy about looking outside of India, or is just the opportunity so big in India that you might as well just figure that one out first?
So both statements are true. So the first one, so what you said later is definitely, I think best is yet to come in India, because we would see another inflection point coming in very soon when the per capita GDP kind of reaches that threshold as well.
Yeah,
and that's very important. And therefore, we're very focused to kind of tap into that opportunity. There are many segments which are under-penetrated right now from an online penetration standpoint. For example, outbound is a big market. Today there are 22 million outbound passengers, likely to grow to 50 million by 2023, for example. I mean, a lot of the young population in India, millennials, they want to actually spend and go abroad.
Yep.
And a lot of that is happening. Having said that, we do think about geographical expansion outside of India as well. So, so I guess one of the things that we've done for our bus market that we have, because we had built that model, that we've actually gone into, Southeast Asia. We are already there in Malaysia and Singapore. We are trying to get into Indonesia. We are also trying to, we are also there in LATAM, for example, right? So the Peru and Colombia, we are already there. So maybe that would be our entry into some of these international markets. But it's definitely not an immediate thing, but we'll build on it in the years to come. If you think about a long-term strategy, we would definitely think more like a regional play going forward.
And last of all, Rajesh, if I can ask, much of the talk in the West about going into Asia Pacific, the ambitions of a Western company going into Asia Pacific, is often focused on China. And Southeast Asia.
Yes.
But there's less talk about coming in and trying to do things in India. Why do you think that is?
Coming from the Western world?
Western companies trying to tackle India. They were talking about let's do something in China and let's do something there. Why do you think you hear less of companies trying to do something in India?
No, they are actually. So I don't think so. If you think about any categories in the internet, Amazon is in India, Uber is in India.
Yeah.
Even Booking.com and Expedia have been, by the way, in India for a good about 7-8 years.
But they haven't managed to unseat you.
They haven't managed to. They haven't managed to because of the fact, and maybe we can take some credit of that. So, no, I mean, jokes apart, no, I think the market has been evolving, right? Every company has its own way of getting into the market. And market has been evolving where there was huge amount of customer acquisition land grab was happening,
Yeah.
and maybe that's not the kind of DNA of some of these companies, or there were other priorities, as very simply put. So I think it's just a matter of time. So, but I think anyone that I speak with, everybody is interested in India as a market.
Okay. Rajesh Magow, thank you very much for
Right.
talking to us. Thank you.
Thank you.